Yeah, we're looking forward, but it's hard not to reflect quickly and compliment these guys on what they did in Minnesota. And not many teams have gone to that building and got the result that they did. And I think they showed why they're a real team, and that um, through different things this year, they stick together. They never make excuses, and they really played to win, as they did against Cruz Azul, which I think you can see the way they stepped on the field, the way they responded at halftime, and the way they finished the game. There's real belief in this group, and now in our 8-game season, we just want to keep putting ourselves in a good position, which I think we're in. And now, of course, back in Denver here against a really talented squad in Atlanta. We'll have to be at our best. I say this when you play against top talent the way they do, with the likes of Almiron, Benitez, and some of these guys, which we love it. We love the challenge, but get back in front of our fans, get back to MLS play in front of our fans, with a chance to get one step closer. So we're excited for the weekend, and you know, one game at a time. We're proud of this group, the way they stand tall and are in the mix.
Chris, a lot of fluidity in formation and play style this season. What's the philosophy for this last stretch of games? Is that something you want to keep with, like the versatility of this team, or do you think you found something with this 3-4-3, the way you play, that you can use this 8 games to get really good at for when playoffs come?
Well, what we showed ourselves in this fixture for sure against Minnesota is that with only a little bit of preparation, we've done it before against the Galaxy in the playoffs last year in different moments, but that they're strong in our principles. Nothing changes in our behaviors. So if the starting points are a little bit different, and in the end, if that takes away what the opposition is trying to do, that's a good thing, as long as we stick to who we are. That the pressing, the reactions, the verticality, the intensity, that has to be there. So yeah, the fact that we showed that the boys can not only understand what we were asking and the demands of that game and the formation shift, but they actually could execute. That was for me the most impressive thing against a team in Minnesota that's been repping that structure for 2 years. So yeah, listen, I think depending how that went, right now we know we have some flexibility that can help us, from the start of games or even to finish in games. So there's nothing better than getting those reps for the boys. So we'll take it a game at a time, but we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see.
Coach, that formation definitely seemed to be a wrinkle that gained you the advantage. One that you came up with. You also talked about with the LAFC match. You might have had a wrinkle coming into that one that got thwarted by going down 10 men. What does a coaching strategy, seeing success like we saw in Minnesota, affect for the guys' morale when you're doing installations on these fluid formations?
Well, the best fuel for that fire is that if it works, and if it'll work, I think if we're coming up with something from our logical brains that we understand in the chess match. Hey, will this work? It made sense. Didn't seem that complex, but complex enough that we think it could work, and simple enough that it can actually be delivered by the boys. But listen, I think look, with what it shows that these guys are I think just are smart players. They're bought in and they'll do what the team asks. If it's good for the team, it's good, we say. So what you think about, recently we lose Mahalovic, so it's when you have him, it's nice when we have him right in the middle of things, right? So without him, you start thinking of different solutions and opportunities to try some different things, and I think that's an area that we took advantage of. But look, LAFC was going to be the diamond here for certain reasons. Again, for us, most importantly, is that we stick to our behaviors, the principles. That doesn't. We don't go from an aggressive team to a passive team. That we stay aggressive. So we talk about playing not 5 in the back, 3 in the back, right? Normally it's 4. We say we're playing 3 in the back today, guys. 3 guys to do the work for 4, not 5 to do the work for 4. We create a mindset of that you got to do more, not less. So, yeah, listen, it's again, having some flexibility is going to help us down the stretch, and I think they showed that the other day.
Chris, how important is for you guys a game where the team is going to honor a legend like Marcelo Balboa, because we know that special for fans is a home game?
I mean, this is the greatest player that's ever played for the club. I mean, in terms of the contributions, what he meant. I'm privileged now to even the doors are open here when he comes to training, and he's, we've welcomed him in. We'd be foolish not to. A guy of his experience, his love for the club, and the fact that the club had a guy like this, a player and person like this, leading the charge, putting the Rapids on the map in many ways, and I think I love that he's being honored in this way. I think it's a great day for him and his family. Great for our community, for all the community to see the kids and our academy coming through, but the local community to celebrate a player like Marcelo Abel. This is it'll be a great day. Hopefully we can deliver a great performance for him, and I love that we'll be part of it and sharing in that day in any way with him.
Since you've arrived in Colorado, have you gotten to a chance to speak with Marcelo about what it was like, reminisce about playing in the early days of MLS and helping it grow as a league?
Yeah, we talk because we shared those fields together. I was with the Galaxy in the early years, and then with Chicago 3 years into it. But what I tell him most of all, and I do it deliberately, but what I want him to know is that although I was right behind him as one of the pioneers, his group, that national team group of him, Tab Ramos, and Harks, and Winalda, a lot of those guys paved the way for all of us. They did, because they were the ones at the World Cups. They were the ones that those DPs back then, those marquee players on each team, 10 teams, a couple of guys sprinkled in around the league. They were the household names. And I remind him of that, and I thank him for that. And I try not to let people, I remind the boys and say, hey, get to know that guy right there. So for me, we have tons of conversation, but we reminisce more about our time together back then. We didn't cross over on the national team, but we were meeting each other at Orlando at the All-Star game. So we're on the little Disney thing, going to a certain ground, and we just chatting and hanging out a little bit. But I've always been not just inspired by him, I've always just been looking up to him. So now we're kind of these adults now, but I still want him to know that we look up to him.
In a similar vein, correct me if I'm wrong, you played in his last national team appearance. That's when you scored your first goals for the USMNT. What do you remember about that game, if you do, and him as a teammate against Iran in 2000?
I mean, you asked a question, and now it's the brain's working. I'm trying to pull out the files from my brain. I'm not finding anything. Look, what I remember about that game is probably it was at the Rose Bowl and I scored. I remember after the game I told Bruce Arena, make sure we bring Marcelo back because that's when I scored my goals. No, I'm kidding. I don't remember anything other than a left-footed volley, a half volley outside the box, and that's all I remember. But I wish I had more time with him on the pitch for sure. Like just a legend that he is.
Chris, Atlanta coming to town, what sort of boon is Noah Cobb in the game prep and then also on the pitch wanting to show out against his old squad?
Yeah, look, we won't make too much of it, and he might share some tendencies in the team and general things that they will look to do. We want him focusing on himself, the game. We're going to see how we start, if he's part of that, but we really like him so far. We think he's, if you want to talk about a player that's a rapid, fearless, aggressive, smart, team guy, team first, just a real guy. 20 years old, just turned 20. One of the guys that speaks the most out there in a real way. He feels really at home here in a short time, and I think he's earned to be part of this already, and the guys really like him. So no, it'll be just about him focusing on himself if he's out there, and not much more than that. Of course, players like that will always want to prove to them, whether you've been traded or someone wanted you like us. I'm sure they were very high on him, but we landed him, and I'm sure you always want to just, like in the old training days for him, just beat up on your teammates a little bit, your old teammates.
Two more questions.
Chris, what do you have to say about Alexis Manjoma, the new player? I know him from Colombia and I know what he can play, but what do you have to say to the fans from him?
Yeah, I think we got first and foremost, when we even did the Zoom call with him, he's smiling a lot of personality. He's going to learn English. He can do a little bit okay already. He's very smart. He's very prideful. I think, again, a rapid player in terms of intensity and verticality. He's an attacker. He loves to attack. He's good 1v1, powerful. Um, he's an exciting player. I think if I'm the fans and we bring an attacker, that's good. Someone that can loves scoring and helping create goals, that's a good. And then it also, our identity is our intensity, and he has this. But I think the fans will see that he also plays with personality. Again, they'll see him smiling. I bet he'll have some celebration if he scores his first goal. Maybe it's some salsa or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, we're really happy to have him, and yeah, I think our fans should be excited to meet him.
Chris, you talked about the 9-game mini season, now 8, as you said today. I was wisely told last week that the parity of MLS is in the playoff format. How important to this team is it that the 2 number 9s in Rafa Navarro and Darren Yappy seem to be catching fire right at this moment?
Obviously, you said it all. So every game, can be close, and so much on the line. Certain teams in and around us. Is it a 5-team race? Something like this. The points ahead of us, the points behind us. It's all very tight for a group of teams, 5 or so. So yeah, anytime, again, with the recent transaction, right, we were less goals and assists, and now bang, other guys step up. Yappy's got 6 or 7 this year, whatever it is. But the fact that he's going to be a guy up with Calvin and Koo, that they stay close with each other, it takes pressure off of Rafa. So important that even if you look at Rafa's celebration the other day when Yappy scores him, it was really telling of how happy he is to not just score, but to be, the guy that can help get the goals. So yeah, so important they both keep staying hot. They got to stay hot for us, because when we score, we're going to keep trying to defend better. So good moment for them to stay sharp.